Welcome back to Tackle the Numbers, the channel that has finally figured out its microphone situation. My name is Alistair Poole. This video is also available as a podcast, so if you'd rather listen than watch, follow the link in the description. The first match of the week was the long-awaited matchup between Austin and LA. These two have been the most consistently good teams in the league and definitely the top two in the West. Because the model consistently underrates LA, Austin was expected to win by 21-20. Instead, as most humans expected, LA won by a landslide, 17-3. That scoreline is surprising, though, as it's only the second time the high-flying LA attack has been held in check. Credit to the Austin defense for putting in such a good performance. For LA, this match was a huge bump in the ratings. They've always been somewhat middling on defense, but holding Austin to 3 points gives them the second best defense in the league at 15.5 points. On attack, they are actually at their worst point yet at 7 points. That's still very good, but it's a far cry from where they were. Overall, that gives them a league best 7.6 point combined margin. Austin stayed roughly level after this match. Their attack dropped to -3 points, but their defense improved fractionally to 15.1 points. That leaves them at a 5.8 point combined margin, which is right about where they've been all season. As losses go, this one was okay for Austin. The next matchup was a tight battle between the Warriors and the Gold in NOLA. The model called this one a draw, 27-27, giving both a 50% chance to win. But in the end, it was the Gold who took the cake. They managed to jump up to a significant lead early in the second half, to win by 5, 29-24. For Utah, this match did nothing to improve their defensive rating, which stayed steady at a subpar 32.9. However, because this match bumped their poor showing against Seattle off the average, they jumped on attack. They are now one of the better rated attacks at 6.2 points. Overall, though, they still languish at a below average -2.3 point combined margin. That isn't bad compared to where teams have been in previous weeks, but with everyone else improving, -2.3 points is enough to make Utah the worst in the league. NOLA got a slight bump from this match. Their defense improved a couple points to 29.7, while their attack remained steady at 1.2 points. This led to a modest bump in their combined margin to -2 points. In a rainy affair, Old Glory was able to win on the road against Houston. They were expected to win by 28-27. However, the conditions made scoring difficult, so the scores were quite a bit lower than that. In the end, Old Glory won by 8, 21-13. I wish I could somehow caveat this match in the model, though, as the conditions make it difficult to take away anything clear from it. But that's not how the model works, so the numbers are what they are. For Old Glory, this match was a huge plus. In the last couple of weeks, high-scoring losses against Toronto and Rooney have aged out, letting their defense more closely reflect their recent performance. This has let their defensive baseline improve to a better-than-average 23.9. Their attack dropped off, understandably, to -1 point, but overall they rose to a 1.3 point combined margin, the best they've had since week 2. Houston saw a similar bump from this match. They gained on defense, getting to an even 30 points, but they lost significantly on attack, falling to -1.4. Overall, that led to an improvement to a -2 point combined margin. Houston has seen a steady trend upward in recent weeks, but they haven't yet started winning matches. They're perpetually about a score worse than whoever they're playing. The next match was a rivalry match, as the Free Jacks visited New York. It was expected to be a close one, with Rooney winning by 1, 24-23, but in reality, Rooney won quite handily with a 10-point margin, 29-19. Rooney had the lead from the first point scored, and though New England fought back to within 3 in the second half, they couldn't pull out a win. This match really didn't move the Free Jacks' numbers much. Their attack went up a fraction to 0, and their defense went down a fraction to 27.5. Overall, that leaves them at a -0.5 point combined margin, just 0.2 points off from where they were last week. Rooney, meanwhile, continued to climb up the ratings. They saw improvements on both attack and defense, with their attack rising to minus 1.4 and their defense improving to 23.2. Overall, that puts them noticeably above average at 1.6 point combined margin. Considering that just 4 weeks ago this team was rated at minus 6.8 points, that is a spectacular rise. The final match of the weekend saw the Rattlers beat down the Seawolves in Starfire Stadium. They were expected to win by 5, 26-21, but they completely dominated, winning by 19, 25-6. Seattle was held completely scoreless for the last 60 minutes of the match. Rugby ATL has been improving a lot in the ratings recently, and this only solidified that. Their defense improved immensely to an excellent 17.4 points, while their attack has become one of the best in the league at 6.6 points. Overall, that puts them at a very good 6.4 point combined margin. Seattle actually also got a boost from this. Despite the lackluster attacking performance, they rose a bit on attack to minus 6.6 points. It says a lot about this team that such a bad attacking rating is an improvement. While on defense, they are actually better than average, improving to an even 25-point defensive baseline. Overall, that leaves them just below average, at a minus 0.5 point combined margin. In the rankings this week, LA jumped back up to the top spot, while Toronto edged out Rugby ATL by a hair for number 2, while Austin is in 4th. The top 4 here have really separated themselves, with the drop-off from 4th to 5th being over 4 points. That 5th place team is Rooney, who are slightly ahead of Old Glory at 6th. After that, there's a run of 3 very close teams, which has San Diego at 7th, with Seattle and New England tied for 8th. There's another tie at 10th with NOLA and Houston, and Utah takes the last place. It's notable, however, just how much teams have improved in recent weeks. With this score, Utah would have been ranked 7th just 3 weeks ago. They're definitely the best-worst team that we've seen this season. In season odds, LA is darn near guaranteed to make it. They have a 99.8% chance, and frankly, I'm willing to just chalk them in at this point. The battle for second place is actually opening up slightly, though. Austin still has the best shot with a 59% chance, but Utah isn't too far behind with a 31% chance. And for the first time since week 3, there's actually another team in contention. San Diego have an outside shot at 8% to make it in. It will take impressive play and a good amount of luck, but they aren't out of it just yet. In the East, Atlanta is solidifying their top spot. They have an 80% chance to make the playoffs. Rooney and NOLA both have reasonable chances at 52 and 35% respectively. And on the outside are Toronto at 17% and Old Glory at 11%, ready to sweep in if someone trips. New England, meanwhile, have just a 5% chance to make it in, though they still can get in with a good run of form. These next couple of weeks should narrow the field down to just 2 or 3 teams in the East with a good shot. On to the upcoming matches. First up, it's Toronto paying a visit to New England. Toronto is expected to win by a hefty 7 points, 26-19. Toronto is rapidly running out of runway for their playoff bid to get airborne, though, so a win here is essential. For New England, frankly, they just need to get a win over an East Conference team. They're currently 0-4 against East Conference opponents. Next up is a huge battle between 2 of the top-ranked teams as LA travels to Atlanta. LA is predicted to be the winners by 2 points, 21-19. That's a 53% chance to win. But they will be playing an Atlanta team that has really been peaking recently, and Atlanta would prove a lot with a win here, so expect them to be super motivated. And the only times we've seen LA challenged have been on the road, so the fact that this is a home match for Rugby ATL is a big advantage. Still, LA is LA, so we'll see if the Rattlers can challenge them. The match following that one has huge playoff implications for the West. The number 2 and number 3 teams will battle it out for second place, with Austin heading to Utah. Austin is expected to win by 8 points, 27-19, which is a 72% chance to win, but I personally think that this will be a much, much closer match. I think Utah is underrated, and I'm not sure I trust the Austin attack to put up enough points on the board. Regardless, it should be a good match. Another West Conference matchup will see Houston take on the Legion in San Diego. San Diego is expected to win this one by 2, 26-24. That's a 55% chance to win. This match actually also has playoff implications, as San Diego does have an outside chance to make it to the playoffs. They can't lose any more matches if they want to make it, though, so a loss here would likely ruin their chances. Houston, meanwhile, would be breaking a 5-match losing streak if they won. They haven't won since they beat San Diego back in Week 4. The final match will have Rooney traveling to DC. Rooney is tipped to win it by 1, 23-22, which is just a 51% chance to win. This match is basically a toss-up. However, Old Glory will be at home, and Sagra Field will be filled to capacity for the first time this season. This also matters much more to DC's playoff hopes. They are behind in the playoff race and need this win to get closer. It will be a hard-fought match, whoever wins. Well, that's all from me for this week. If you want to pick against my numbers, you can do so over at tacklethenumbers.gloriousrugby.com. You can also find my graphs and charts there as well. If you have questions or comments for the show, feel free to reach out to me at tacklethenumbers@gloriousrugby.com. Till next time, folks.